All right. President Trump signing an executive order to curb big money influence in college sports and provide some type of structure because the NCAA, in my opinion, has dropped the ball. The order prohibits a few things. For example, the executive order that came down late last night prohibits third-party pay-for-play deals, but allows fair market NIL, has some organization and criteria with it. It's going to direct the Labor Department and National Labor Relations Board to evaluate athletes' employment status. They have not made that conclusion yet. There is no union, and directs the Attorney General and FTC to protect student-athletes' rights from antitrust litigation. And finally, the executive order will gain momentum after meeting. He gained momentum after meeting with Nick Saban earlier. And Joe Manchin also did a lot of work on this, too, before he left the Senate. So there needs to be structure in college sports. People are worried about Title IX, women's sports. They're also worried about non-revenue sports. So where do we go from here? What's it going to mean for college football? Let's ask the best in the business, former Alabama coach Nick Saban. Coach, one of the reasons I believe you left is because where college sports was going. What does this executive order do?
Well, I think, President Trump's executive order takes a huge step in, providing the educational model that has always been what we've sort of tried to promote to create opportunities for players, male and female alike, revenue and non-revenue, so that they can have development as people, students, and develop careers and develop professionally if that's what they choose to do. So I think we sort of need to make a decision here relative to, do we want to have an education-based model, which I think that the president made a huge step toward doing that, or do we want to have universities sponsor professional teams? And I think most people would choose the former.
So right now, with name, image, and likeness, that changed things right away. Is there a clearinghouse now, a criteria for the University of Tennessee and Alabama, if they're going for players? Do they have to have companies who want to be a part of that player's product to go through a qualification?
Yeah, I think the clearinghouse is there to authenticate name, image, and likeness. In other words, is your marketing value relative to what you're getting paid to do a marketing opportunity? That's where, when you cross that line, that's where it becomes pay for play. So you have collectives that raise money that pay players, and they really don't do a relative marketing job to earn that money. And that's where, this whole thing has kind of gotten sideways. And I think this whole clearinghouse is there to, sort of protect the collective, affecting competitive balance in college sports.
So there's all the money in football and basketball. They're the great revenue drivers. Are you concerned for the non-revenue sports? What's going to happen with Title IX? If you're going to have all these players men making this money, Title IX says women have to have the same opportunities. What happens to those women's sports?
Well, I think that, I'm for keeping all the sports that we have, as many as that we can have. But, there are financial concerns relative to how many sports can you promote that don't create revenue. I think one of the things that people need to understand about college sports, they say it's a business, but it's really not a business. It's revenue producing, and 2 sports have created a revenue to have 20 other sports. And I think that's why it's important that we have a system in place. And I think, President Trump's made the first step, toward that. I think, the SCORE Act in Congress right now would be another step in that direction that would protect the opportunities that we've been able to provide for male and female non-revenue sports, because I think it's everybody's goal to keep all those opportunities intact.
One of the reasons, Coach, I've read that you left is where college sports was heading. You went to broadcasting, you're having a great time. But you look young, you look fresh, and there's opportunity. Almost every school would love the opportunity to hire you. Would you be open to ever coaching again?
It's amazing to me that came up in the media, and the media speaks for you and thinks for you. I never really ever had a thought about getting back into coaching until 2 days ago. Miss Terry said I had to run the sweeper in the entire downstairs. So while I was running the sweeper, the thought occurred to me, when you were coaching, you had a heck of a lot better job than this. So that's the only time I considered it.
Are you considering it again? So you'd give up the housework to maybe go back to grabbing the clipboard again?
No, I'm really happy with what I'm doing right now. You know, it's exciting to still be involved in the game. It's exciting for me to work with athletic directors, conference commissioners, people in Congress to, preserve the integrity of our game and continue to be able to create, opportunities to help young people create value for their future that will help them be successful in their life, which is what we always try to do as a coach.
Yeah, and just so, Coach, you're not shutting the door on it, especially when your buddy Bill Belichick goes back to North Carolina. Does that make you more apt to say, hey, if the right opportunity comes, I could do it?
There is no opportunity that I know of right now that I would enhance me to go back to coaching. I enjoy what I'm doing. I did it for 50 years. I loved it. I love the relationship with the players. I love the competition. But, it's another station of life now. And I enjoy what I'm doing right now and want to continue to do it, spend more time with my family, my grandchildren, my children. It's been really, really good.
You've certainly done it all. As a coach, there's nothing left to prove, that's for sure. Coach, thanks so much. I'd feel much better about college sports if you were directly involved in organizing it because you know where to go. Thanks so much, Nick Saban, for joining us this morning.
I appreciate it, Brian. Have a great day. Thank you.
You too.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.